purple political talk here. And today we're going to be looking at the JHK forecast and looking how things have changed. So, I mean, over the last couple predictions, I've been saying that Donald Trump is going to go up from here where he was previously. He's going to start gaining some momentum. So, I don't know if you guys remembered, but last time actually it was very interesting that we looked at this forecast. Joe Biden had an 87% chance of winning. Yeah, it's a 4-point loss, but it shows how things are turning. Usually with these predictions or this forecast, things change at daily about maybe less than a 1%. But honestly, right now, there are many things we can say that why is Joe Biden losing chances at the presidency and Donald Trump is gaining a little bit. So, I mean, it's been commonly said, Joe Biden right now has like a huge chance of winning the presidency. Just look at the states that he's leading in, and that's why this election is so easy to predict. Now, as things get closer to the election, that's when real things happen. When we start getting to more of the campaigning, more of the ads, and all these different things, then what ends up happening is that these states are going to start trending towards the other side, and they're going to start tightening up. Look at 2016. For a long time, Hillary Clinton thought the Rust Belt was a done deal. She didn't go, she didn't invest, she didn't do all these different things. At the end of the day, it ended up costing her the election. So let's start by looking at the chances. So Arizona, I mean, not saying that Donald Trump has like super high chances, but it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's one of the closer states, like in his favor. North Carolina also, and I mean Florida. So maybe a couple elections ago, we could have thought that a state like Arizona is probably gonna go or have the same chance of going to the Republicans as a state like North Carolina, because North Carolina has been a traditional swing state. So right now, I mean, generally speaking, what has moved this forecast more on the favor of Donald Trump is the Rust Belt and some parts of the Sun Belt. So right now, I think the major point is that many people think the COVID economy and post-COVID economy is trash nationwide, and I think that is a false statement. Yeah, I mean, very big parts of the country are being damaged by the COVID economy as of right now. But there is many parts of the country which are fastly recovering. While states in the Sunbelt, they might be very far behind. Think about a state like Florida or North Carolina or Arizona, who have to, a lot of them stop reopening or go back a little bit. A lot of these establishments that have been looking to start making more money and being able to pump out more money and move the economy, they have to stop. Yeah, so these places are being hit hard by the economy, but in a place where the economy matters a lot more, the Rust Belt, COVID cases are down and reopening is starting. I mean, it's still very the COVID is still a serious problem, but since these people vote heavily on the economy, at the end of the day, it won't really matter. So remember, the people in the Midwest vote on the economy, like I just said. And since they're picking up again and they're starting to go back to what they're used to, that is why Donald Trump is gaining a lot of momentum in these areas. Remember, Donald Trump is an economic candidate. His policies are somewhat strong in the eyes of the Midwestern on the economy. So at this point in time, I think that truly has what is kind of helping Donald Trump in the Midwest. And yeah, there's still going to be some close races. Iowa, Ohio, Georgia, Arizona. At this point, Alaska is getting pretty close. But still, Donald Trump has been growing, and I think it's a very bad thing to not see that he's actually growing. Because I remember last time Joe Biden was like around 87% and Donald Trump was at 13%. So that's one thing we have to look out. And although it might have been a 4% change, it still shows a lot. And that momentum that is going to start breezing with the Trump side. And it's just the kind of recovery from the lowest point in the election. And usually when it comes to elections with incumbents, the incumbents are usually very unfavored. They often are underestimated. In 2012, for example, Barack Obama was expected to win, but by a smaller margin than he actually did. And honestly, that's a big thing you have to think about. These races are often underestimated with the incumbents because, again, it's in the moment. Incumbents are very unpopular once they're in office. I mean, someone like Donald Trump, I don't see him being as popular as an Obama when he leaves office. But still, that's one big thing to consider, and it's a point that needs to be made. So we're gonna look at this national overview graph, and it shows that Joe Biden still has a nice chance of winning. 337 electoral votes on the average forecast, 200 for Donald Trump. Popular vote, it's been leaning a lot more towards the Biden campaign, and I think honestly, popular vote will be going to the Democrats for the foreseeable future, unless Republicans either have a very popular person going against a very unpopular Democrat, or if Republicans start flipping their base and they start focusing specifically on some groups of people. So this is going to be our graph. So wins the White House, we saw that there was points where each political party was doing pretty bad, but now some of them for the Democrats, doing pretty bad at this point was what they were beginning, but now the chances have skyrocketed. We're probably going to see a coming back down to earth. I mean, we saw this similar thing in the 2016 presidential election. Maybe not at this scale because there wasn't a pandemic during it. But I think, honestly, what really, changed this was the protest. I just want you to look at this. COVID started here. I mean, it went down slowly, but when it began going down, super rapidly, in just a matter of 2 months, it went down double what it went in the past 2 months. It was the George Floyd protest and the civil, I guess, could we call it a civil rights movement? I don't think it's a civil rights movement. It's just a justice movement. Let's just call it that. So, at this point in time, the Trump campaign is doing some things that are starting to bring them back in some of the places. And I think it's going to be better for the Biden campaign to focus more on the South than the Midwest. The Midwest is important, but I think Donald Trump has a very good chance of winning there, and he's underestimated. Yeah, the polls show Biden ahead, even by double digits. But at the end of the day, I mean, Donald Trump has very good bases here. And I think, honestly, some polls, I'm not saying that polls are wrong or polls should not be trusted. But I would say that sometimes I think polls, especially in the area of the Rust Belt, which has been somewhat wrong in the 2016 election, where, yeah, I mean, they were in the margin of error, but they predicted the wrong winner. We could easily see, I think, a little bit more of an upset in these areas if people are not aware that that is happening. Popular vote's going to be pretty tight, because, I mean, that's usually what happens. It's slipping out of the Republicans' hand, and the electoral vote has been kind of at a standstill, but it's going down for the Republicans, and it's going up for the Republicans, my bad. And now, Democrats have a smaller chance of winning, by bigger margins. I mean, we're not saying super big, it's not like they flipped overnight. This was similar to, I mean, we're gonna see it, this is not the same thing as after Joe Biden won South Carolina, where we saw things completely flip. This is more of a slowly but gradual where the race will narrow up. So this map right here, this graph shows, the states and their margins. So the lighter the color, the less likely it is. So we have states like Ohio, Iowa, Georgia. These states, if really Donald Trump loses these states, it's completely over for him, and he might even take the Republicans with him. I mean, as of right now, there's a couple excess states for the Democrats. Nebraska 2nd Congressional District, North Carolina, Arizona, Florida, and Wisconsin. Right now they're expecting +5 victory, and I think a lot of these margins, especially in these swing states, are gonna go down by 3 to 4 points. I just see it like that, because remember, these swing states, although they might have a high chance of going, they're a lot more conservative, especially a state like North Carolina, or even Arizona or Florida. Yeah, in Arizona, I think I could see it more. I'm going more for Biden because Donald Trump is so unpopular in the majority parts of the state, or let me reword that. He's very unpopular in Maricopa County, which is where it really matters. But he's more popular when it comes to Yuma County, which is one of the biggest border counties in the U.S. and the one that votes are usually a lot more conservative over the last couple of years. So right now, I mean, Donald Trump has a very good chance of coming back and at least tightening up the election. We're about to see a super landslide scenario where Republicans might have been wiped out of their House, Senate, presidential seats. So we're going to look now at this map. We're showing the votes. This is a map that is usually used to represent how big victories are. And I mean, if this map was used for the county maps, remember how during the midterms Donald Trump said beat this, and it was just a map with a bunch of red counties, which technically speaking was just a bunch of rural counties which have very little vote. And I mean, if that map was shown to scale, it would have been something similar to this. And now this is the tipping points, and we're gonna look at these graphs that show what would happen in like the who's going to win by how much. So right now, it's going to be something we're gonna see that honestly Republicans have a chance of winning a lot of these states. Now it's looking a lot. So this is more oftenly like, hey, where do they each do on their peak points, and where do they do in their best and worst case scenarios? For example, here we could see that Republicans could do like almost 40% in the worst case scenario in Florida, but they could win by something. And that's the more they're closer together, the closer the states are, and they're more likely to flip. So take a look at these states. So, for example, this graph shows, for example, Wisconsin, Republicans, if they have a lot of purple in the middle, it's that it could go to either party or some purple at all. And states like Arizona, look, they're a lot more purple, so there's a big chance for either party. If you want to take a look at that map, we could show more. And we're going to actually do something interesting today. We haven't done a forecast comparison. So this is the forecast comparison. So hold on. I don't know if you can see. Oh, those are all the votes in solid Democrat, and that all of that shows it. So JHK, they predict that to that. That's their biggest forecast. Then we have Cook, which Cook usually don't like to project things too early. But still, they're projecting a 279 victory to 188 with a lot of the big states not even in. Sabato Crystal Ball is looking at a closer state. I mean, if Donald Trump wipes the rest of these seats in, he has a victory. Inside elections, they are projecting almost a similar like electoral outcome, I think, as Sabato Crystal Balls. I think it's exactly the same. Politico, same map, just one electoral vote off. CNN is projecting a lot less. CNN is being a lot more cautious with this. Because remember, in 2016, my bad, they were projecting Hillary Clinton to win or have at least 270 electoral votes. But they're being a little bit more careful. And I mean, this map is very accurate of showing the important swing states. Because generally speaking, after a couple of these goes, Republicans are kind of completely done for. NPR is a lot more cautious than I guess of the rest of these, because they're very unbiased, so they wouldn't like to risk that and that thing. So I mean, it's very similar. These are some new pollsters and new analysis. I mean, with this map, I don't agree with is that I would place a state like Georgia in the tilt red column or something like that, but who knows. And I think we have two left. C analysis. This one heavily favors the Republican Party. I would be a little skeptical putting North Carolina and Florida on there. Nonetheless, I mean, who knows? Lean toss-up. This is a very Democratic thing. I mean, as of right now, I mean, looks like a very unrealistic scenario. I mean, who thinks that Joe Biden has a 68% chance of winning the state of Texas? It looks pretty absurd, and I don't see this happening. This looks like an outlier. And plural vote, it's another very Democratic-leaning one. But, I mean, it's a little bit more cautious with your percentages. So, nonetheless, let's go back to the JHK forecast. So, right now, I think that we have a very interesting race here, and it's tightening up for the Trump campaign. And that's good for him. The Biden campaign should begin to be worried, and they should start investing in a lot of these closer states, or states that have been slipping. And realistically, the Trump campaign only has to hold on to Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, assuming they don't lose any other state. But anyways, I think the Trump campaign has a lot to actually, they have a lot of places they could win. And I think Republicans are being underestimated. And when we get closer to election day, these forecasts are going to get a lot closer, and they're going to take a look more like a Cook Political Report or a Politico, where they don't project too many races out of the hat because they're not sure. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a longer one, and we're close, or I don't know if I am at 200 subscribers yet. Let me check right now. And we just hit 200 subscribers right when we were filming this video. So guys, I want to thank all of you for reaching 200 subscribers. It is a great deal. And I wanted to ask you guys, please comment down below in the comments, or if you're in the premiere chat, what would you rather do for a 200 subscribers special? Do you want to do a like mock government where you can run for like House, Senate, and things like that? Kind of similar, it's a very similar thing. A lot of people have done this before, but I want to see how my viewers look at it. Or would you guys rather have a Q&A session with me. I don't know if to do it like a sort of a live session. I mean, I haven't used the live feature here on YouTube, but I could try. And yeah, so I'm gonna give you our next sub goal. Our next sub goal is to reach 300 subscribers. And guys, when we reach 500 subscribers, we're going to be doing another giveaway. Our giveaway winner has already been shipped his package, and it should be arriving soon. Congratulations, Philip, again. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and goodbye.